Today we are diving into the fascinating and powerful history of the Philippine 2 peso coin issued in 1985, a coin that does not only hold metal and face value, but also carries with it a deep connection to one of the most crucial eras in the Philippines' history. The 2 peso of 1985 is not just a piece of currency. It is a reminder of political struggles, economic changes, and the strong symbolism that coins often embody in times of national transformation. The 2 peso coin was part of the Flora and Fauna series, which was introduced in the early 1980s to highlight the Philippines' rich biodiversity and cultural heritage. However, the 1985 issue stands out because it was released during a time of immense social and political upheaval in the country. The mid-1980s were marked by the last years of the Ferdinand Marcos regime, a time when the economy was fragile, inflation was climbing, and public dissatisfaction was reaching its peak. Against this backdrop, coins like the 2 peso became more than money. They became tools of national identity and silent witnesses of history. One of the most striking details about the 2 peso 1985 coin is its obverse, which features the portrait of former President Ferdinand Marcos himself. Unlike other denominations that honored revolutionary heroes, presidents of the Republic, or national martyrs, the 2 peso was one of the most politically charged coins of its time. It was designed to reinforce the image of Marcos as the strong leader of the Philippines, placing his face in the everyday transactions of millions of Filipinos. Every time a person used this coin, they were reminded of the political order of that era. This makes the 1985 2 peso not only a numismatic item but also a political statement minted in metal. On the reverse side, the coin carried the seal of the Republic of the Philippines, reaffirming its sovereignty and national pride. But its symbolic weight was even greater, because by 1985, the people were already on the verge of major change. Within just a year, the country would see the EDSA People Power Revolution of 1986, where Filipinos from all walks of life united to peacefully overthrow the Marcos regime. Thus, this coin exists at the edge of two eras: the final stage of dictatorship and the dawn of democratic restoration. The 2 peso of 1985 was minted in copper nickel, a durable alloy chosen to withstand circulation. However, collectors today value it far beyond its composition. Because of its association with the Marcos years, many see it as a relic of a past that shaped the Philippines' destiny. For historians and coin enthusiasts, holding this coin is like holding a piece of the final chapter of a regime that defined an entire generation. Economically, the mid-1980s were a difficult period for the Philippines. The peso had weakened, prices of goods were climbing, and ordinary citizens faced hardships in their daily lives. In such times, a 2 peso coin carried greater significance, as every peso and centimo mattered. 1985 was a turning point in Philippine history. The country was in the final years of the Marcos regime, and the economy, politics, and national spirit were all facing challenges. Central Philippines continued its mission of minting coins that would carry the nation's identity. The 2 peso coin of 1985 emerged not only as money but also as a cultural artifact reflecting the tensions and aspirations of the time. At the heart of the coin's design was Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution. Born in Tondo in 1863, Bonifacio led the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary movement against Spanish colonial rule. His inclusion on the 2 peso coin symbolized bravery, resistance, and the spirit of independence for Filipinos. In 1985, seeing Bonifacio's face on their currency was a reminder that their history was defined by resilience, even in difficult times. On the reverse of the coin, the image of the Bangus milkfish captured the essence of Filipino livelihood. The milkfish, long considered the national fish, represented abundance, sustenance, and the agricultural backbone of many coastal communities. By featuring the Bangus, the coin reminded people of the vital role of natural resources and fisheries in feeding the population and driving local economies. The Flora and Fauna series, to which this coin belonged, was more than just a redesign. It was a project that showcased national pride. Previous coins had primarily highlighted political leaders or symbols of statehood, but this series balanced the historical with the natural, emphasizing that the Philippines' wealth was not just in its heroes, but also in its biodiversity. The 2 peso coin thus became part of a wider narrative that tied Filipinos to their land and environment. Technically, the coin was crafted in nickel brass, giving it a golden-like sheen. This metallic choice ensured durability in circulation and also made the 2 peso coin visually distinct, with a diameter of 38 millimeters. It was among the larger coins in use, giving it a sense of value and weight in the hand. Its solid construction made it less prone to wear, which is why many collectors can still find well-preserved examples today. Another fascinating detail is the limited minting period of this denomination. Unlike smaller coins that were produced in huge quantities for decades, the 2 peso coin of 1985 was struck in fewer numbers and circulated for a relatively short time. By the early 1990s, newer designs replaced it, making the 1985 edition a snapshot of a specific historical moment rather than a long-lasting feature of everyday commerce. From a collector's standpoint, the 1985 2 peso holds special allure. Coins in uncirculated or proof-like condition can command impressive prices among numismatists, especially those who specialize in Philippine coinage. Its association with the Flora and Fauna series and its depiction of Bonifacio, a national hero, further enhance its desirability. Many collectors, belongs to the Angi Bagong Lipunan coin series, which was introduced under the administration of President Ferdinand E. Marcos in 1975. This series was not just ordinary currency. It symbolized the government's vision of a new society during the martial law era, and the coins carried nationalistic themes that reflected Philippine heritage and identity. The obverse of the 1984 2 peso coin features the bust of Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution and founder of the Katipunan. His portrait signifies bravery, nationalism, and the struggle for independence from Spanish rule. Around his image is the inscription, Republica ng Pilipinas, along with the year 1984. The reverse side of the coin carries the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. This design element emphasizes the authority of the central bank in issuing currency and maintaining economic stability. Composition and specifications. The 2 peso coin from 1984 was struck in copper-nickel, a durable alloy commonly used in mid-20th century coinage. It was a large-sized coin, measuring 38 millimeters in diameter and weighing 17 grams, making it one of the largest circulating coins of the period. Because of its size and weight, it was sometimes compared to commemorative coins rather than regular circulation currency. The release of the 1984 2 peso coin came at a politically turbulent time in Philippine history. The early 1980s saw growing economic challenges, debt crises, and widespread dissent against the Marcos government. The coin thus became more than just money. It was part of a broader effort to maintain symbols of nationalism and continuity amidst uncertainty, circulation, and use. Although it was legal tender, the 2 peso coin was not as widely used as lower denominations because of its bulky size. Many Filipinos found it inconvenient for everyday transactions, and it often ended up being stored, collected, or used for ceremonial purposes. Its limited circulation contributed to its survival in good condition among collectors today. Transition and demonetization. The 1984 2 peso coin was among the last of the large-sized coins in Philippine currency. By the late 1980s and into the 1990s, the central bank began reducing the sizes of coins to make them more practical for daily use. Eventually, this coin was demonetized in the 1990s, meaning it ceased to be legal tender, though it retained significant historical and collector value, collectability, and value. Today, the 1984 2 peso coin is considered a numismatic collectible, especially when found in uncirculated or proof condition. Its large-size historical connection to Andres Bonifacio and issuance during a politically important era make it a desirable piece for coin collectors in the Philippines and beyond. Depending on condition, it may fetch higher than face value prices in the collector's market. 25 centimo coin of the Philippines belongs to the Angi Bagong Lipunan ABL series, which was introduced during the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos in the 1970s. This series was created as part of Marcos' New Society program, which aimed to symbolize his vision of a restructured and disciplined Philippines under martial law. The coins bore the inscription, Angi Bagong Lipunan, the New Society, to emphasize this political ideology. The 25 centimo denomination had already been part of the Philippine monetary system since the American colonial period, when it was issued in silver and was equivalent to 1/4 of a peso. However, by 1980, the coin had lost its silver content and was made of copper-nickel, due to rising silver prices worldwide and the need for affordable circulation coinage. On the obverse front of the 1980 coin, The design featured the bust of Juan Luna, a famous Filipino painter, sculptor, and political activist of the late 19th century. Luna was celebrated for his masterpiece, Spoliarium, which won international recognition in Madrid in 1884. By honoring him, the coin not only reflected national pride in Filipino artistry but also tied into the theme of cultural heritage that the Marcos administration wanted to promote. Around Luna's portrait were the words. The reverse back of the coin. The design included the denomination 25 centimo, the Philippine coat of arms, and the political slogan Angi Bagong Lipuna, and the coat of arms symbolized sovereignty and national pride, while the slogan reinforced the Marcos era propaganda of national renewal. The 1980 25 centimo coin was relatively small in size compared to earlier Philippine coins, aligning with international trends of producing lightweight and inexpensive coins. During the late 20th century, as inflation gradually decreased the purchasing power of small denominations, these coins became more symbolic and practical for everyday, small transactions such as fares, market goods, and basic necessities. In circulation, the coin was widely used during the 1980s when the Philippine economy was experiencing both modernization and challenges under martial law. However, by the 1990s, the value of 25 centimo had significantly declined due to inflation, and such coins were less frequently used in urban areas. The historical value of the 1980-5 centimo coin today lies more in its cultural and political symbolism than its face value. Collectors often seek it as part of a complete ABL series set. While it is not a rare coin in general circulation, coins in uncirculated or proof condition can fetch higher prices among numismatists, especially those with clear mint luster and minimal wear. The 1980 issue also represents a period in Philippine coinage where national heroes and cultural icons were consistently featured, building a sense of identity through money. The choice of Juan Luna on the 25 centimo reflected the government's attempt to highlight Filipino. Welcome back to my channel, The Coins World. Today, we are diving into the detailed history of the Philippine 10 peso coin issued in 2005. This coin is not just an ordinary piece of metal. It's a work of art that captures a part of the nation's evolving story. Every time you hold one, you are holding a symbol of the Philippine struggle, triumph, heritage, and growth. The 10 peso 2005 coin has layers of meaning that reflect not only the country's economy, but also its history and identity. Let us take a long journey into its story. The 10 peso coin was introduced in the late 20th century as inflation and economic shifts demanded higher value coinage. By 2005, the Philippine economy was at a point where the 10 peso coin had become an everyday necessity. Paper bills of the same denomination were being phased out because they wore out quickly, while coins could withstand decades of use. This practical reason behind the creation of the 10 peso coin already reveals how the economy shaped the way money was designed. But there is more. The design of the 10 peso 2005 coin is deeply symbolic. On its obverse side, we see two great Filipino patriots, Apolinario Mabini and Andres Bonifacio. Mabini, the brains of the revolution, was a man of extraordinary intellect who guided the revolutionary government with his writings and ideas. Despite being paralyzed, his presence on the coin reminds Filipinos of the power of wisdom and resilience. On the other side, Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution, represents courage and leadership, a man who rallied the Katipunan against Spanish colonial rule. Having both men together on the same coin speaks volumes. One represents wisdom, the other bravery, a perfect balance in the nation's history. The reverse side features the logo of the Banco Central ng Pilipinas BSP, the central bank, along with the coin's denomination. This design choice places the coin within the broader narrative of the Philippines' financial system, showing the role of the BSP in stabilizing and managing the economy. The coin is made of a bimetallic composition, with a silver-colored outer ring and a golden inner circle. This modern design, similar to other high-denomination coins around the world, gives the 10 peso a distinct and attractive look that made it stand out from lower denominations. Now, the 2005 version of the 10 peso carries its own unique value for collectors. While millions were minted, coins from this period are often sought after for their condition, rarity in higher grades, and historical context. Many collectors specifically search for coins from the mid-2000s because they mark the transition period of Philippine coinage before newer designs were released under the BSP's new generation currency coin series. In 2018, This means the 2005 10 peso is a representation of an entire era in Philippine numismatics, now becoming a collectible piece. The 10 peso coin has a unique position in Philippine currency because it was created during a time when the nation was modernizing its coinage while still preserving its heritage. The 2005 issue of the 10 peso features two powerful figures in Philippine history: Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution, and Apolinario Mabini, known as the sublime paralytic and brains of the revolution. This pairing was not accidental. By combining the legacy of Bonifacio, who symbolized courage and action, with Mabini, who embodied wisdom and intellect, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas wanted to remind Filipinos of the importance of both bravery and thought in shaping the nation. What makes the 2005 coin particularly interesting is that it represents the second phase of modern Philippine coinage. The early 2000s was a period when the Philippines was moving away from paper denominations for smaller values and reinforcing coins as more durable currency. The 10 peso banknote, which had circulated for decades, was slowly being replaced by this bimetallic coin. The decision was driven by economic logic. Coins last for decades, while paper money wears out in just a few years. The design itself is rich in national pride. The obverse side of the coin proudly displays the portraits of Bonifacio and Mabini, while the reverse side bears the seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Surrounding the portraits are inscriptions not only identifying the figures but also anchoring the coin to the country's revolutionary history. When people held this coin in their hand, they weren't just holding money. They were holding a reminder of the sacrifices made for Philippine freedom. Collectors today often point out that the 2005 issue is special because it was part of a broader redesign in the early 2000s. The use of a bimetallic structure with a brass center and a nickel ring made it stand out compared to other lower denominations. Its appearance resembled international coins such as the euro and certain Asian currencies, reflecting the Philippines' growing integration with the global economy. Historically, the release of this coin also aligned with the presidency of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo during a time of significant political challenges and reforms. While the coin does not directly reference her administration, its issuance in 2005 marks an era when the Philippine economy was undergoing both struggles and growth. Thus, the 10 peso coin silently documents a period of resilience and modernization. Culturally, the inclusion of Andres Bonifacio on the coin was especially meaningful. For decades, Philippine coinage and paper money had primarily featured presidents, political leaders, and national figures recognized by government institutions. Bonifacio, a revolutionary leader who was once underappreciated, compared to figures like Jose Rizal, found his rightful place on everyday currency. This move sparked national conversation. D6 belongs to the BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas ng Bagong Lipunan series, which was first introduced in 1975 under the presidency of Ferdinand E. Marcos. This series reflected the government's campaign for a new society following the declaration of martial law in 1972. Coins and banknotes during this period bore the inscription ng Bagong Lipunan, the new society, symbolizing a political and cultural shift in the Philippines. Features the portrait of Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. Rizal was chosen because of his role in inspiring nationalism through his writings and his martyrdom in 1896. The words Republica ng Pilipinas encircled the coin along with the denomination 1 peso. The year of minting 1976 is displayed at the bottom, bears the official seal of the Republic of the Philippines. Around the rim is the inscription ng Bagong Lipunan as part of Marcos' reformist propaganda. The coin's metallic finish gave it a strong modern appearance compared to earlier peso coins. Copper-nickel cupronickel alloy, giving the coin a silvery appearance. Weight, approximately 14 grams. Diameter 33 millimeters, making it a large-sized coin compared to modern peso coins. This large, heavy coin was considered quite durable, but its size made it inconvenient for daily use, leading to eventual changes in later series. 1976 1 peso coin was produced in large quantities for circulation. It was minted both in the Philippines and sometimes in foreign mints through contracts. These coins circulated widely during the late 1970s and early 1980s, alongside paper bills of the same denomination. 1976 coinage came at a time when the Philippines was under martial law. The inscription ng Bagong Lipunan was not just a decorative feature, it was a political statement. Coins and banknotes served as tools of propaganda, reinforcing the idea of unity and reform under Marcos' vision of a new society. 19761. Peso coin is considered collectible, especially in uncirculated, mint state condition. Circulated examples usually have low monetary value, often just a little above face value for collectors. Uncirculated or proof-like specimens can fetch higher prices, especially if preserved without scratches or tarnish. Condition-grade mint state coins are far more valuable. Historical interest collectors of Marshall, Loira coins or Rizal memorabilia value these highly. 1976 1 peso coin stands as a reminder of a transformative period in Philippine history. It connects the legacy of Jose Rizal, who symbolized freedom and reform, with the controversial political era of the 1970s under Marcos. Its large size and bold inscription made it distinctive, and though it was eventually replaced by smaller, lighter coins in later decades, it remains a significant piece for historians and numismatists. In summary, the Philippine 1 peso coin of 1976 is not just a piece of money, it is a historical artifact that reflects the culture, politics, and economic. Before the 1976 release, the Philippine peso or peso had already undergone major transformations. The peso traces its roots back to the Spanish colonial era when the Spanish silver peso piece of 8 was used in Manila trade. After the Americans took control of the Philippines in 1898, the Philippine peso was pegged to the US dollar. Coins issued under U.S. administration bore designs that reflected both Philippine culture and American sovereignty. The time of independence. In 1946, the new Republic of the Philippines began issuing its own coins and banknotes, first under the English series 19511970, and then under the Filipino series 19671974, which emphasized Filipino national heroes and inscriptions in the Filipino language. The 1976 1 peso coin falls under the Engi Bagang Lipunan ABL series 1975-1983, which represented not just currency reform but also political messaging. During martial law, the term Engi Bagang Lipunan, the new society, was introduced by President Ferdinand Marcos after declaring martial law in 1972. It was a slogan meant to project the idea of a reformed and disciplined Philippines free from corruption and instability. The inscription appeared on both coins and banknotes starting in 1975. Thus, the 1976 1 peso was not just an economic tool, it was political propaganda in metallic form. Every Filipino who used it carried a reminder of Marcos' governance and his vision for society. The face of the 1 peso coin bears Dr. Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. Rizal's writings, particularly Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, awakened Filipino nationalism during Spanish rule. His execution in 1896 made him a martyr. By featuring Rizal on the 1 peso coin, the government tapped into his universal respect across all political groups. It gave the coin legitimacy and connected the message of new society with the enduring spirit of nationalism. 1976 1 peso coin was among the largest modern Philippine coins in circulation at the time. Its 33 millimeters diameter and 14 grams weight made it heavy in pockets, but also prestigious compared to smaller denominations. It was struck in copper-nickel alloy, chosen for durability and cost efficiency. The reeded edge was both decorative and functional, discouraging coin shaving, a common fraud in earlier centuries, where people filed off bits of precious metal. 1976 The Philippine economy was grappling with the effects of rising global oil prices and foreign debt. Inflation was creeping up, and the peso was gradually losing value. Large coins like the 1 peso reflected an effort to maintain the peso's visibility as a strong unit of currency. However, because the coin was bulky, many Filipinos still preferred the 1 peso paper banknote. Over time, this dual-use coin and paper for the same denomination led to debates on whether 83 belongs to the Flora and Fauna series, which was introduced in 1983. During the administration of President Ferdinand E. Marcos, this series replaced the Engi Bagang Lipunan ABL series that had been circulating since the mid-1970s. The goal of this change was not only monetary but also symbolic, reflecting a new national identity rooted in the appreciation of Philippine biodiversity and heritage. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas (BSP) wanted to emphasize the richness of the Philippines' natural environment, so they placed native plants and animals on the coins. This was a shift from earlier coins, which usually bore only political or historical figures. The obverse of the 1983 50-centimo coin carries the portrait of Marcelo H. del Pilar, a revolutionary writer, journalist, and one of the leading propagandists in the movement for Philippine independence during the Spanish colonial era. His inclusion symbolized freedom of speech, courage, and national identity. Around his portrait is inscribed Republica ng Pilipinas and the year of minting, 1983. The reverse side depicts the image of the wailing orchid Vanda Sanderiana, a flower native to Mindanao, often called the Queen of Philippine Orchids. This orchid was chosen to highlight the country's rich flora and promote conservation awareness. Below the flower is the denomination 50 centimo. The coin was made of copper nickel, which gave it a silvery appearance, unlike earlier centimo coins that were bronze-colored. 198350. Centimo coins circulated widely in the Philippine economy throughout the 1980s. At that time, 50 centavos still held significant purchasing power. One could buy small items like candies, snacks, or even part of jeepney fares with it. By the late 1980s and into the 1990s, however, the coin's value began to diminish due to inflation, and it slowly became less commonly used in everyday transactions. Marcelo H. del Pilar's legacy, his image on the coin, reinforced national pride, reminding Filipinos of their fight for independence and intellectual freedom. Del Pilar's writings in La Solidaridad played a crucial role in the propaganda movement against Spanish rule. The coin also symbolized the government's attempt to connect the Filipino people to their natural environment. By featuring the wailing, the coin raised awareness of the Philippines as a biodiversity hotspot. Economic transition period. The early 1980s was a turbulent economic period for the Philippines, marked by debt crises and political unrest leading up to the EDSA People Power Revolution of 1986. Coins from this period serve as reminders of both economic hardship and resilience. 1983 50 centimo. Coin is no longer in active circulation, having been demonetized along with other coins of the Flora and Fauna series when the BSP introduced the new design series NDS in the. While not extremely rare, its historical significance and design make it a popular piece among